Okay, so let's get into this review. This is season 5, episode 16, and it actually is the 100th episode of the entire series. So I thought that was worth noting. So we start out where it left off last week, and that was with Candace, like just in shock at being accused by the Secret Service of being a terrorist. So essentially, this was just Charles's way of keeping her in line because she's just a tremendous blackmailer. And she was really scared. This is the first time since the Malones kidnapped her that I've actually seen her scared, because she was like, Charles, and the way she said it, there's a movie, it's a TV movie, it's called The Guardian. That's a weird movie, and there's a part in it toward the end where Martin Sheen goes to the hood and Lou Gossett's neighborhood, and some gang members are about to attack him, and he says, John, and that's what it reminded me of, but that's a weird movie. But anyway, so Candace has messed with the wrong person again, and she's played herself, and she's trying to lie now, well, I really like you, and all this stuff, and it's clear that she's lying, and she's not even doing a good job at lying. She has failed big time in the past couple of seasons. She's lost all her money that she blackmailed from Jim. She played Warlock, and and what led to her son getting killed, and that's another thing. She still doesn't know that her son is dead, and when Landon came to the door to talk to Charles, they were talking about the shooting, and how it was in this neighborhood that the presidential candidate was supposed to speak in, and Landon wanted him to make a statement, and Landon knows who Candace is. He doesn't say anything, but he's kind of looking at her like, okay, what are you doing here? You're trouble. I know you're trouble. But he doesn't say anything. And but Charles knows everything about Candace. He knows her whole name. He knows that she escorted to get through college. He knows all of that. And what was it you called me? You call her a lousy slut? Yeah. So she's just laid up in the bed, and her son's dead, and I don't know. She probably won't find out until the season finale. Because it's dragging out so long. Yeah, Charles may be the one to tell her, because she's not getting, she hasn't answered her phone, and it's been several episodes, and still she does not have the news. Okay, now we're gonna go to Veronica, and she goes to the hospital to see Melissa, and Melissa's still acting like Veronica has something over her head, and she doesn't. Her father's dead, and Melissa said that her father was the only parent that cared about her, and apparently her mother just doesn't care about her at all, but she's still acting like Veronica has something over her head, and Veronica slaps her at least twice, and Melissa kind of raised her voice, but then she backed down and still acted like she had something over her head, and it's not making sense at this point, because Veronica has no legal right to be in her room. Melissa could call the nurse and say, this crazy woman's harassing me, get her out of here, and ban her, don't let her in my room. Veronica has no legal rights to the baby, none of that. So I'm not sure why Melissa is still putting up this stuff from her. And Veronica, she's still hung up on the sheets. You messed up my sheets. Yeah. And then Melissa says that she wants to die, and Veronica was all, "Oh, I don't care about you." And she said something, "Well, if you do it again, I'll throw you off a roof." And something about, if you survive, I'll make sure you're in a catatonic state so you know what's happening around you. And it's like being something. She just will be saying all kinds of crazy stuff. It's hard to keep up with what that character says. But okay, that was basically that scene. So now we get to Hannah, and Catherine is helping her make the funeral arrangements for Quincy, little Quincy. And the man from the funeral home, he's asking Hannah what she would like. I couldn't quite tell what it was. If it was a casket or something else, but he asked her what she would like, and she picked something out, and then she says, "How much is it?" And I'm like, and she's all, "Well, I have to pay." And I'm saying, "You're gonna pay with what? You don't have any money. What are you gonna pay with? Those little crackers you get out of motels when they do the continental breakfast or whatever, those little soup crackers?" What? Well, she's not working right now. Yeah, she does maid's work, but she's not working right now, so she's doesn't have enough to pay for a funeral. And I think these people want the money. Yeah. She would probably ask to scrub the floor of the funeral home, because when she was staying in that motel and didn't have money, she asked the woman if she could clean the room. So the woman said, "Well, we have enough help." But anyway, Catherine had to. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why her grandson is dead. She just has too much pride and wants to do everything on her own, and she clearly did not have the means to do everything on her own. But anyway, Catherine pretty much just shut her down and said, "Okay, it's being taken care of." So Hannah, from there, she goes on to call Benny again. And of course, Mitch still has his phone, and he's trying to make up excuses and say, "Well, he went to the store." And then Hannah gets real serious, and she says, "Mitchell, where is he?" And you know when somebody calls you by your full name and not the half form of it, they're getting really serious. And she's starting to sound like somebody's parent. And where is he? You said he was, and he's not back yet. And so Catherine takes the phone, and Mitch tells her, "Well, he's in jail." And Catherine wants to handle it, but she really can't get around the fact that he's in jail, and she has to tell Hannah, because Hannah keeps going, "Well, what? Where is he? You need to tell me." And Catherine just says he's in jail, and Hannah bolts out of there. And let's see. Okay. And so this scene with Wyatt and Jim, and Jim just does not act like a father at all. He's just like, everything he says is so stoic and robotic. He's trying to show concern, and Wyatt is not buying it. So Wyatt just woke up, and he got up, and he's gonna leave the hospital. And so Jim is showing all this concern, and of course Wyatt brings up the fact that he put him in a jail cell with a maniac. And Wyatt just says, "I don't want to see you or Mom ever again." Of course, Jim is hung up on the inheritance and say, "Well, you need to let us have control of it. Your mother will invest it. We'll give you an allowance. We'll make sure your bills are paid." And Wyatt's like, "No way." And so Wyatt just tells him just basically hit the bricks, and he leaves. And so Jim, now all that concerned father act is out the window, because he takes out his phone and calls up Oscar or Brandon or whatever his name is. And he's saying, "What are you doing to get my son's money back?" And he's playing, and he's got Oscar or Brandon, he's got him trying to get to Warlock too, and try to get Wyatt's money back. And Oscar's saying, "Well, I'm working on it, but Jim needs more details." So he's basically harassing Oscar for more details. So I guess Oscar does have a plan, because when the lady from the rehab comes into the parking lot, he talks about making her an offer or something. So I clearly he's going to try to go through her to get Wyatt's money off of him. And so we get back to Benny in jail, and Veronica comes to see him, and he tells her what's going on. Okay, so the Secret Service is after me, and she has no clue what that's about. All she knows is that Benny is being charged with murder by the police, and Benny thinks that she had something to do with it, and she's saying, well, I can't reach that high, and neither can David. And basically they just go back and forth. He's talking about he put it on her or something. And then before she leaves, she tells him, well, you can work off your retainer, and she wasn't talking about working it off with money either. So okay, and so it's the same way that Candace worked her way through law school. That's how she wants Benny to work off his retainer. Okay, so we get to Jeffrey, and he's in a hotel room, and all of a sudden Stalker comes in, and he's all, well, your mother, she says she's going to tell my wife if I don't leave you alone. I had to call you because she might have your phone. And Jeffrey just wants nothing to do with this guy. And partially Jeffrey is really mean, but on the other hand, Stalker is crazy. He's acting real psycho and all of that. And Jeffrey's just like, shoo, go away. And so Stalker gets psycho again, and he's all, is Wyatt coming over? And the thing about Jeffrey is he doesn't try to clear this up. He doesn't tell Justin, Stalker, that Wyatt isn't gay or interested in him. He just like kind of leaves it open as if there is something there. And you know, the Stalker is crazy, and you know, he might try to kill Wyatt, or he's probably going to end up killing somebody because he's crazy. So you know, that's a good point. He might kill himself. Yeah, that's a possibility. So the last scene is with David and Erica, and so they're just going on and on about what they did. It's, you know, that is kind of like the dialogue there was not that important, but what was important is at the end, she starts talking about his crazy ex-wife, and she says, well, I don't play that sort of thing in, because Veronica sent her those flowers, and here comes Veronica. She just sits down like she was just, like she just floated down out of the air like Maleficent or something. And she keeps creeping up. She keeps creeping up on people like she's a Disney villain. So that was the episode. In the preview, Erica and Veronica, they're in the elevator arguing, and David's in between them, and they're both hollering and stuff. Yeah, over old. and Veronica, she just makes no sense. She had just come from talking to Benny, talking about how he was going to work off his retainer. Now she's mad that Davis is out. Yeah, she just doesn't want to have David to have anybody. And what else happened in the preview? Okay, oh, and then Landon is after Jeffrey again, talking about his, I don't know. And I said, Jeffrey has too many people. Yeah. Yeah. And Erica and Veronica are getting ready to fight on the elevator. So we get to see that next week. So like and comment and subscribe, and we'll have another review next week.